Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will looking at the patch note 2.8.2. It will be live on 17th of April, and we got some interesting update, we got some optimizations, and we got some balance adjustment on the mortals, and we also got the adjustment on the tower knowledge. And in this video you will be able to find everything you need to know and prepare for that. Although in my opinion it's not that much, but it's going to be a very good update for some of the mortals, and also keep a look for new skills that it might not be announced here, but it might come as well. So that being said, let's take a look at the patch notes. Now let's take a look at the optimizations. Number one, here we have Alliance Forced Impeachment. Very straightforward. If you want to read it yourself, you can pause the video. But if you want a quick summarize, it's basically you can impeach a leader if that person is not active anymore or becoming like inactive for a couple of days. You can start impeachment, and then you can vote if you want to keep that person as a leader or you want to have a new one. But the new here is that the persons who votes for impeachment needs to be active as well. The activity is, important here. If you have like an account which is barely active, the impeachment won't really count because it can become like insufficient, right? And of course, we have a cooldown of 7 days, which is pretty good. But keep in mind, these things, right, will rarely happen. If you're in an active server, active alliance, most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, your leaders are going to be online and active, super active, right? Only if you are in like an old alliance and the person happens to quit or happens to stop playing the game or what something happened and forgot to log in into that account that is basically R6 of the old alliance, you can impeach it with your friends if you can get into alliance, right? So there's a lot of things that play into the role, but very straightforward, nothing to really focus on because basically, like I said, 99% of the time this won't happen, right? So let's take a look at the next one. Number 2, we have individual, immortal, and dragon sharing. This is a little bit different. I mean, if you know what this is like share buttons have been added to immortals and dragon interface, allowing you to share immortals and dragons to chat channels. This is very good, right? Because before we used to have different interface, right? You have to go into the portrait. I'm going to show you guys the game real quick. So before you have to go to this interface before you can start sharing, right? Now you don't have to, if that is what they are doing, which is very good right now. You can just go here and there will be like an interference or interface where you can share the models straight from this area, which in my opinion is very, very good. And same thing with the dragon, right? So that is a very good for me, and makes it a little bit simpler to share your ideas and share your immortals, or if you want to brag a little bit, right? And number 3, here we have tower knowledge optimizations. This is very good in my opinion. I don't understand why it took so long, because if you look at the current tower of knowledge, right, we have this is the current tower of knowledge, and the current tower of knowledge is basically the curse skill, right? You don't know what they're doing, you have to press on them to know what they're doing, right? So having the new interfacing look like this will help majority of the people, especially the newer people to the game. And I've been playing this game for roughly 3 years, and it took them 3 years to do this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm okay with the current version as well, but this one definitely going to be helping out a lot of people, and I'm very happy that they did that. And They added a new skill effect and status effect categories, optimize main interface. Yeah, basically, like I said, nothing different, but I like that they did add some, Cyrus like immortals over here and here as well to keep people, basically give them an idea which kind of skill fits for each immortal. Although it might not be like that when we do PvP, but it's a very good thing that they did add here. Number 4 here, Wishing Fountains optimization. Now you can one-tap claim, added new world buff that increase resource productions. That is actually really interesting. Wishing Fountain is the fountain in the middle of your castle. If you don't know where that is this one. I'll show you guys. This one in the game. Added one tap claim is probably when you wish, right? If you're wishing like that, I'm gonna go straight to 23. I always go to 25, right? Because then I get some speed ups. I think it's here where you do like a one tap claim on every rewards here, which I think this is very good because it just become more automatic, right? And then we add new buff, world buff, which also going to be very good for resources. I think we are preparing to increase warehouse eventually. That would be very nice to do, IK. So yeah, let's see what happens when it comes out, right? Number 5, we have selection chest and random chest display optimizations. It's very basically just optimizations, right? It's nothing really important. And number 6, also they finally added player created chat emotes. That's gonna be very nice. Congratulations to the person that won the competition. So this is gonna be very, very nice to use. Chronicle place interference or interface optimizations. That's also gonna be interesting where they're gonna put this interface, because right now the Chronicle in the Norheim is currently here, right? Chronicle place. If you don't know that, and at first I was wondering where it was, because usually it was normally one of the thing, the dot down here, that interface the Chronicle used to be before, and then they changed to becoming the monolith over here. So that's just a very good one. And training camp closure, I think I covered this last time. It's about the training camp being cancelled or paused for a month or two while they're optimizing the training camp. So if you are subscribing to the training camp monthly or 3 months at a time, please cancel that while they are looking into it. And if you still gonna be in the subscription, you will be provided compensation, right? So that's about that. Yeah, let's take a look at the balance adjustments. This one is one of the most interesting one that I always looking for when I do the patch note videos, because I want immortals to get adjustment as much as possible so we can change the meta back and forth, right? So this one is going to be very interesting. The first one, we have immortal adjustments. We have Athena, we have extra energy regen buff with 9 extra points from the start, basically going from 44 to 53. I don't think that's gonna help much, right? I think you won't be seeing significant changes. So I don't know why they even change. If they're gonna change, they should have been go to 60 at least, right? 50 from 44 to 53 is basically, if you think about it, it's basically like 0.01 seconds. faster probably. You won't even noticing, right? It might go just a little bit faster, 0.05. Okay, I give it that, right? I mean, it's a good adjustment. It's a buff. I like that. But the next one, Loki. This is what I'm waiting for, right? I saw like a post from one of the POs, Hades, right? He made a video about the patch already, and then he highlighted Loki. So I was interested, like before I was going to make a video myself, I was very interested, intrigued, like what kind of buff you're gonna get. And when I was looking at the patch note, damn, right? It's about time, you know? If you have a Loki and you used to use Loki before, right? I think it's about time you bring Loki back. Now we're gonna see Loki do some damage. Now we're gonna see Loki actually performing. And I calculated, if you look at the numbers, right? Right now it's currently at 450, if I remember correctly. It should be 400 and 450 right now, right? Currently, and it will increase to 500%. So the rest here is pretty much the same. It's just that they increase the damage rate, right? And the artifacts also increase, right? I'm not 100% sure because, to be fair, I have not, or I have a Loki, but I never, use one, right? So, okay, so what they did here, after I was just looking into the game when I was, while talking about this. So they changed the recovery rate from 300% to adding 30% more damage. So I don't know what I feel about that, to be honest. Yes, you increase damage by 30%, right? But you're basically removing 300% recovery rate. I don't know if that is a really good buff, in my opinion. How, like, the active skill is definitely a buff, right? But the unique, artifact passive, I don't know if that is a buff or a downgrade. In my opinion, it doesn't look like a buff for me, right? Because now you have like a 30% extra damage that is basically the same as Himiko, same as Khan, and it's good, yes, but it's not necessarily. I would rather have the recovery rate so you can sustain a little bit longer, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe once you have that extra 30%, it's going to be different. In my opinion, it's probably not going to be any difference because I think that the Realm of Life, the active skill, is going to make a difference already. So basically, if you have the artifact, it will go from 450% to, after the update, will be 530 with the artifact. So that's gonna be interesting. I start to see Loki coming back again and see a lot of people using Loki again, and I'm very interested to see how that perform because it's a very good buff, especially with the ultimate skill. However, the artifact part, I'm not really sure if I would call it a buff, but it's a good adjustment. Let's see how it happens, or see what happens when the patch become live, right? So the number 3 here we have Mangku Kapak, right? I think at first I was misreading that, right? Because I thought it's gonna increase dodge even more, but I think everybody knows now that dodge is basically not useful, right? It's not useful, and I don't really recommend to play dodge anymore. And also, they changed the Sun Flare to deal 30% extra damage, which, in my opinion, is going to be the same thing as the Loki artifact, going to be the same thing as Himiko, going to be the same thing as Khan artifact. I think this one is better buff than what Loki has, right? Deal extra 30% more damage. I think that's going to be very good for Mango. Do we see Mango back in the meta though? I don't know, but I'm going to make a video about that when the patch is live so we can see the extra damage as well. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Maybe Holy going to be a very good March again. We will see what happens, right? And also we have a Wind Dragon skill adjustment, which is quite interesting that they just randomly change like or adjust on the Wind Dragon skill. Is there many people that use the Wind Dragon? I think if they're gonna change this much, right? I'm hoping that the IK actually make the Wind Dragon stones more available for everybody, because I think wind is a very interesting element. It's just that it's quite expensive or very time consuming compared to other elements, and wind have very good immortals. Hannibal, Baldwin, you have Saladin, and these kind of immortals, right? They are really interesting immortals, and probably most of the people that are been playing for a while, they probably have wind as like a third March or fourth March, or trying to be something different. I have a friend here in my server that he changed. Basically, he used Wind March for one season in KVK, and then he just gave up. Right? It was his main for one season, and then he just moved to like a third team or something like that. But he's still gonna perform well, and hopefully with this adjustment, we're gonna see something different, right? And of course, the last one will be having Tower of Knowledge adjustments. I like this adjustment because I think they're preparing to drop more skills. Like I mentioned earlier in this video or beginning of this video, that we might prepare for a new skill to come as well. It might not be like the epic skills, but I'm thinking maybe we're gonna prepare for a legendary skill again, because usually they drop every 2 or 3 patches. They're gonna drop one legendary skill, and looking at these levels adjustments, I think it's gonna be a very good adjustment. So they're preparing to drop even more skills in the future as well. So Weakening Curse, I think Weakening Curse is a top tier skill, but it's situational. So it's gonna be adjusted from level 51 to 50, which is not that much, but I think the bigger one here is the Blade Vortex. Unlock level adjustment from 50 to 39, so now you can get it even faster, which can be, if you are like a season 3 or season 2 and early conquest, I think this one could be a very important skill for you to get. And then you have spell disintegrator. I think they're spot on these levels, right? Because some of these skills are very old, like spell disintegrator and stormite. They're very old, and keep in mind these levels has nothing to do with how good they are, right? These levels are basically just indication of when to unlock these skills. So I like that adjustment, and also I'm gonna talk a little bit about the newer skills that might come into the game. And since IK adjusts so much, right? Let's look in the game. Since IK adjusts so much, and we will see like Blade Vortex moving down the pecking order or level, just to feel here. I'm thinking we're gonna get more skills here as well in the future. And right now, I'm curious about the new legendary skills, right? I'm looking into them. I'm planning to get more of them, but I don't know which one yet. So I'm assuming the next one, maybe not this patch, but the next patch, you're gonna see a legendary skill again, and that's gonna be probably like a tank or support legendary skill. Hopefully, it's gonna be good, but also hopefully it's not gonna break the game and make tank super OP and then one patch later they're gonna, you know, adjust and nerf that skill. Basically, that's what I did with Energy Mastery. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my, you know, basically my opinion as well. I know this video is almost 20 minutes long, and yep, you can, you know, move around back and forth if you have something you want to go over again. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.